It's good to see you all this morning.
Another day, another Zoom. How are y'all doing?
Doing well, but before we head into talk with the CEO, I thought we'd convene today to discuss this new shopper opportunity.
Yes, I'm looking forward to finalizing the provisions of this contract so we can get this to the CEO as soon as possible. Shopper could be our first major deal, so let's get this done.
Yeah, Shopper could be just the break we need to finally showcase our cutting edge software that uses a more advanced deep neural network architecture than our competitors. However, I have some concerns about how Shopper wants to use our software, namely immediately providing suspect information to law enforcement.
I agree. I'm concerned that we won't have much control over how Shopper uses our software to coordinate with law enforcement. And it would be particularly concerning to find that our software has contributed to increased profiling. There's a lot of national attention on the important issue of facial recognition bias and surveillance right now. And I firmly believe that we need to be a new leader aiming for equity, transparency, and privacy.
I totally agree. Though my team is working hard to fix this, I got to be frank and say that despite our best efforts, our training data has just not been inclusive enough. While the chances of misidentification are small, a person of color is significantly more likely to be misidentified than someone who's white. And the same goes for people who are non-binary. If misidentification by our software led to a false arrest, this would reflect very poorly on our engineers and our company in general. We have an obligation to protect the security and safety of individuals in this country, as well as the reputation of our company.
We also have to think carefully about how we're retaining and protecting data, because with new privacy laws popping up in states such as California, Virginia, Connecticut, and elsewhere, we don't want to inadvertently run afoul of their laws. We should also be very careful about how we're sharing data with third parties so that we aren't categorized as a data broker.
I really do understand these concerns, but honestly, we stripped away every part of the software that raises concerns at all. We may not even have anything else to sell in the market. And we're definitely not the only supplier by any means. Any of our competitors can come in after the moratorium period with all of the bells and whistles that we're ready to get rid of because of some potential controversy.
You're right. And we've also got to think about the international market dynamics. There are companies abroad with similar tech that would love to pounce on this deal. If we build up our market presence early, we can be a US company guided by US privacy laws in California, Virginia, and elsewhere. We can ensure that Shopper customers are protected in accordance with these laws. The alternative could be that Shopper goes to one of our competitors abroad and buys software that is even more intrusive and dangerous. We need to stay profitable to stay in the game.
That's true. Right now, we have an opportunity to be the gold standard of facial recognition technology, both from a technical standpoint and a privacy standpoint. I think with the right technical safeguards in place, our product could make the world a safer and better place. And in this specific deal, help Shopper lose less money due to shoplifting.
Exactly. And since other major domestic competitors hit pause on their facial recognition software products, if we'd like to make a change, now's the time. We've got the first mover advantage here, and any way we're able to keep this Shopper deal afloat will be a massive advantage for us in the market.
So it seems like we're on the same page about these concerns. Ultimately, we're in an industry where the privacy laws and regulations are unclear and evolving. So we've got to think about how we can proactively change CClear's tech specs and policy requirements so that we're not prompting any backfire.
However we decide to tinker with CClear, we've got to prioritize our core product here. Shopper is only going to buy if our product is considerably better than our competitors' products at the price that we're setting. Frankly, we can't really afford to slash the price on such a massive deal for our company.
Agreed. My team has worked tirelessly on this software, and it's time for them to get to see it used outside of our labs. However, we are going to have to address some of the concerns that we brought up earlier. And I think one way to address them is to build in more technical safeguards to the product on our end so the privacy of all shoppers is protected and the authorities aren't immediately alerted without at least some sort of human intervention. This is certainly something my team is capable of, but it'll probably take at least a couple weeks to implement and then work out any bugs. So its feasibility is really dependent on Shopper's timeline for implementation.
So the way I see it, basically we've got two options. We can change the end user license agreement and limit what Shopper can do with CClear, or if the development team can handle it, we can build in more safeguards on our end. Either way, it's going to be a different product for Shopper. Let's see how we can frame this as an advantage for them.
Listen, there's no way that this is going to be perfect with our first go, but I agree that given that all other companies have halted their software sales, this is a great opportunity to begin setting standards for what this technology should look like. First and foremost, I propose that we retool the end user license agreement with Shopper. We'll liaise with their policy team to help them enact a new customer privacy policy that A, requires visible signage alerting individuals that they are being recorded when entering any Shopper store, and B, introduces technical privacy safeguards. All data collected by the stores should be deleted after a 7-day capture window. This gives sufficient time for individual stores to access the images in the case of significant theft.
Yeah, on the technical side of things, there's going to be very little we can do to implement the changes to the end user license agreement. However, the retention period does seem like an effective solution. It's a pretty easy fix on our end and could actually help bring down data storage costs since we'd be storing video for a week rather than indefinitely.
Retooling the end user license agreement, though, could be a sticking point in these negotiations, since we'd basically be limiting the flexibility of Shopper to use the software they're paying for. Would it be possible to supplement these changes with some safeguards on our part so it doesn't seem like we're forcing the cost directly onto the consumer?
Absolutely. The database will, of course, be protected with strong cybersecurity measures, and we can offer some more flexibility with a trial period for this software. I also think, given what we've discussed with respect to the development team, we could guarantee a national implementation of our software across all Shopper stores, given the fact that large-scale shopping theft often occurs across multiple locations of a single chain. Our software could flag if somebody or a group of people has visited multiple Shopper locations in a suspicious pattern.
I like that. That's a really strong selling point as well. If we can build the economic case for why Shopper will be able to bring down their shoplifting expenses by using our software, we'll be able to keep this deal afloat. A national database would be an excellent headline item to keep Shopper at the negotiation table. So, in terms of other key pieces, how do you both think we should approach Shopper's plan to alert law enforcement when someone is flagged by C-Clear? If anything, I think this could really be a sticking point in negotiations.
I get that. I think a really important piece to this is how we alert law enforcement. And I don't believe that somebody having a previous criminal record should mean we call the police. We still need to believe in the good of humanity and treat people fairly and equitably. Therefore, our facial recognition software should merely create an anonymous store alert to employees, creating a 30-minute window in which all customers should have their receipts checked at the exit by a physical employee. The exception to this would be if there were an open arrest warrant out for an individual detected.
Okay, I'm on the same page here. I don't really want to see C-Clear be used as a predictive policing tool that unreasonably flags people walking into shoppers' locations. But ultimately, we've got to circle back to the financial question on the table. Would this keep Shopper negotiating with us about this contract? We need to lay out the case for why these changes would make a difference to the customer.
Yeah, at least on the technical side of things, I can think of at least two reasons why building in these safeguards, such as storing the data in a different way and then ensuring on-site human intervention before alerting authorities, would make this a better product for Shopper. For the former, we could look to improve our model by adding in new data about whether shoppers flagged by the system engaged in shoplifting, and then use this data to actually improve the model's accuracy going forward. And as to the latter, consumers are going to be less likely to be worried about shopping somewhere if they know that if C-Clear is being used, the software isn't the sole decision maker in contacting the police, and they won't be as worried to be recorded at Shopper.
Okay, I'm starting to see the benefits here, and I'm sure I can pitch this to Shopper to help them understand how these changes are going to have a positive impact on their bottom line. But when we're thinking about our balance sheet here at C-Clear, is it really worth making these changes for just one client? And are we going to see any benefits for this across the market for facial recognition tech?
I think that this program can have interesting benefits for facial recognition as a whole. Shopper is a huge chain that spans the whole country with a very diverse clientele. If we establish a relationship between us, Shopper, and NIST, we can actually use our software and the more diverse data set that we're building as a method for creating stronger facial recognition software. This technology isn't going anywhere, and this could be a good opportunity for us to build better algorithms and set the industry standard alongside NIST. It also would be great PR for both us and Shopper.
I think you're both right here. This is an opportunity for us to leverage our market power right now and the Shopper deal to build out the safeguards for this industry, and we'll get to take the lead during this period. I think we've now got a much better idea of how the contract with Shopper should look, So let's head in to meet our CEO and see if we can get this deal signed today. Thank you both for your hard work.
Thank you.
See you soon.